So we're here today at the Frederick Municipal Airport where we bought this Cirrus SR22 sight unseen. And I'm just now taking a look at it for the first time and it's pretty bad. But this airplane only has 514 original hours on it and it hasn't flown since 2013. So it's been 11 years someone left this thing sitting outside. Today, we're gonna go over this entire airplane. We're gonna see what she needs to get flying again. And we're also gonna see if we can get it to start. And there's bees everywhere. So I think we're gonna go get some bee spray too. But first, we're gonna clean this thing up because this thing looks absolutely terrible. Welcome back to Rebuild Rescue. This is gonna be some rescue. I've had my eye on this Cirrus for over 2 years now. The first time I saw it was when we were at the same airport rescuing our TB-20. And a few weeks ago, I finally got the call saying it was for sale and for an amazing price. So I thought. Who would have thought that Cirrus, a little kit airplane company founded in 1984 by two brothers, Alan and Dale, in Baraboo, Wisconsin, would become one of, if not the biggest disruptor ever in the world of general aviation, especially after failing at their first attempt with the VK-30, a pusher-style kit-built airplane. After that failure, and throughout the 1990s, Cirrus shifted its focus from kit planes to certified production aircraft, and development began on the SR-20. The SR-20 was first flown in 1998, and it was certified by the Federal Aviation Administration in 1999. In 2000, Cirrus introduced the SR22, an upgraded version of the SR20 with a more powerful engine, greater range, and additional features. It quickly became the best-selling general aviation aircraft in its class, which brings us to the model year 2003, when our 310 horsepower, 207 mile per hour Continental-powered IO 550 SR22 GTS was born. America was fighting for freedom in Iraq. The Human Genome Project was completed by mapping the entire human genome. The final installment of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, The Return of the King, was released. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers won their first ever Super Bowl in the franchise's history. Should I like tie my shirt up here? This. She's my You never find me happier than when we have a brand new project and I might be losing every single dime I just spent on it. I'm pretty sure that there's a mental condition that could be compared to that, but I'm not sure. But it does make me happy. The thing is about buying an expensive airplane, sight unseen, that sat for years and years, you really don't know what you're getting yourself into. The SR22 looked terrible. Walking up to it, my heart sank. But it actually cleaned up pretty good. We spent a lot of time and it just was really starting to come together. But looking good isn't what my big worry was. This is a composite airplane that's been sitting out in the weather day after day for 11 years. There could be problems we can't see. If we found damage, it may mean a totaled airplane and losing a ton of money. We got this SR22 pretty clean and it actually surprised me. If you guys could see it like in person, it looks a lot better. And I think that if we get a buffer out, maybe a little wet sandpaper, I mean, this is single stage paint, it's gonna look really, really good.
I mean, honestly, at that point, you maybe just clean up the white paint and put some new of these vinyl.
These stripes and everything on it. Yeah, absolutely. Really yeah, I think it's gonna clean up like really, really good. Everything's smooth. I'm not seeing very much paint damage. I'm definitely not seeing any cracking or anything else. So
honestly, the worst looking part is the stickers.
It is the
stickers is the only part that really looks.
And it kind of reminds me of like an old RV, like from the early 2000s. All the RVs had these swoopy round kind of things on it.
Yeah.
Instead of like the sharp lines that more things have today. That means that we can update this thing, I think, pretty easily to look like even like a newer G7. So one of the things, now this is not like the way to tell
if you have a composite issue. But it's one way that you can kind of test simply to give you an idea. There's further tests that are going to have to be done and further inspections to the Cirrus to make sure that sitting out in the sun or in the weather, nothing happened to the composites. But you can take something like a quarter or something and start working your way down the spars, listening for a different sound. If you have a different sound, you have a thud instead of it's just a different sound. We do it on boats, if the boat gets waterlogged, it does work the same on an airplane. It's just a good place to start.
And just after one test, all that money could be completely gone. That's the thing about rescuing things, especially airplanes. One wrong decision and I could be pretty much completely broke. But the thing is, on the other hand, sometimes you get that good buy, you get the perfect deal and everything goes perfect. You've done really well. It's a gamble.
Sounds good. I'm not hearing anything.
I mean, the thing is, one of those SR22s with only 500 hours on it, in today's market, that's gotta be worth $250,000, even $300,000. We'll have to see.
It sounds good. I'm not hearing a thing. So everything sounds good on the wings. Again, there's other tests that have to be done. Everything has to be looked at really closely. The inspection panels are going to need pulled down, looked up in there with scopes, and just look for any little thing that could be wrong. But so far, so good.
I can't tell you how nervous I was while checking out the airframe. I just paid $135,000 for a 2003 Cirrus that sat on a ramp for 11 plus years, abandoned and completely untouched. So everything is looking pretty good, but we're really not out of the woods yet. These older SR22s, they're full of electronics, and they're known to have some issues with the windows and the seals. We need to get inside of it and check out the electrical systems.
All right, so now that we checked the composite of the wings, making sure there's nothing floating around in there, make sure there's not waterlogged, I don't see any cracks or anything like that, it actually is looking really good. But we gotta check everything else. We just gotta check all the surfaces, we have to check the windows. Now, while we were washing it, I did notice something. Water was getting in here pretty easily, and if you look, this whole window needs resealed. So that is a concern. That means that more than likely, moisture's been getting into the airplane. Now, the nice thing about the Cirrus is there's really nothing on the floor. It is composite, like the electronics are all up off the floor a good bit. But I already know that there's gonna almost have to be a little bit of moisture in here. Before this thing flies, all these windows are gonna have to be completely cleaned out, this old caulking removed, new seals, all that stuff resealed. But that takes a lot of time, but it's not a real difficult job. It's just labor intensive. So one of the other things I was really surprised and I wasn't sure, we bought this sight unseen, and in the pictures, it was covered with so much dirt. I mean, you guys saw how much lichen and stuff was on here. I didn't even know it's got TKS on it. Now, in 2003, they weren't made to fly into known icing. This was more like an emergency kind of thing. You could turn it on and kind of get out of a bad situation, but you're not supposed to fly it into known icing. It does have de-icing on the prop as well. And that is a huge option for a 2003 SR22.
That was a pretty crazy option to have in any plane in 2003, right?
Well, I mean, any of our planes that we
any
get,
of our
right?
planes,
But
definitely.
I think this is the newest one we have, though.
Yeah.
It's our
yeah,
newest
you're right,
rescue.
it is.
but then again, who leaves a $500,000 in 03 airplane sitting in an airport with 500 hours on it? You're just not going to run into many rescues like that, and that's why a lot of our rescues are older. Really excited to do this one and actually learn a bunch about these Cirruses as well.
If you know me, you know how much I love animals. And if you've been watching long enough, you might have seen Ellie and Gracie. There are two pup dogs, and they're a load of fun. Keeping your dogs healthy keeps them happy, and that's why I'm excited about our sponsor for today, Sundays. Sundays is healthy dog food that's easy to store and save. It's made from a short list of human-grade ingredients with 90% meat, 10% vegetables, and 0% synthetic nutrients. You know you're getting a top-quality food for your dog. Sundays was co-founded by Dr. Tori Waxman, who is a practicing veterinarian. After using Sundays, dog parents noticed healthy improvements in their dogs, including softer fur, fresher breath, better poops, and lots of energy. Sundays is the first dog food that I got that was healthy and the dogs actually like. They'll stand here and literally beg for their food. You're not supposed to eat it out of the bag. They absolutely love Sundays. Something I really like about Sundays is that unlike other fresh dog foods, Sunday doesn't require refrigeration or preparation because of their drying process. Just pour it and serve. Every order ships right to your door, so you don't have to worry about running out of dog food again. Ellie and Gracie love Sundays so much, and it's so easy to serve. It's dried out, so because it's dry, there's no mess, but they eat it like it's a wet dog food. They love this stuff. I mean, yeah, they're slobbering all over me. If you want to improve your dog's health, you need to switch to Sundays. Get 50% off your first order of Sundays by going to sundaysfordogs.com/rescue or use code RESCUE at checkout, and make sure you use our code and get 50% off your first order.
I just want to look around it, make sure there's no hidden damage that I don't know about.
Dude, there's literally wasps everywhere too.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some wasps inside the, like these wings somewhere.
He just flew in there.
There's got to be some nests in here. Hopefully we don't get attacked. You know, the tires are definitely going to need replaced. I mean, they're about as dry rotted as you get. So we'll have to put new tires on it. Be real interested to see what if the flight control surfaces, the flap works. You know, if the flaps work, if any of the electronics work. But we've got TKS back here.
Did you notice this? Does that door look off to you?
It is a little bit. You can tell from the stripes here, from when I'm striped at the factory too, that it's down a little bit.
So it might just need a readjustment or something.
I think it'll probably need adjusted.
Oh look, and here's the de-icing fluid.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, with these Cirrus, you know, obviously you got a parachute, you have, you know, in 2003, you could or couldn't have really good avionics. So I think this one has some nicer ones in. We'll take a look a little bit later. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, these surfaces feel good. I don't see any damage anywhere. Yeah, it's just a little bit stiff. It's gonna need a little bit of lube.
Jason, you walked past the best part.
Oh shoot, this has AC. Oh my God, that's the air conditioner. That's the air conditioning condenser. Not only does this have TKS, does it have de-icing, it has AC. So, and in 2003, again, it had to be like really, really loaded up. This is like a really good find. It's huge. As long as we don't get inside and the avionics are totally ruined and the engine's totally ruined. And
the only thing that makes me feel a little better is 514 hours.
I know.
I'm like, man, if that engine is toast after 514 hours.
Well, it's 514 hours and then it sat for 11 years. Yeah,
with no cow plugs.
No cow plugs. I'm sure it's full of bird stuff up to here. If you guys remember the TB20, it was at the same airport. Now we could kind of look through the windows now that they're clean and see what is in here, but we haven't been able to get inside. Let's see if we can get in here, see what we have for a panel and everything else. All right, so the door's kind of stuck shut. So let's see if we can at least get back in the baggage compartment. At least that came open. Let's see what we got in here. Got a fuel test cup, some rags, a makeshift funnel, some old touch-up paint, probably factory touch-up paint, air chuck, another tire pressure gauge. Oh, nice. That's a good place for that. This one smells like a boat, though.
That's not ideal.
That's not good. And it does have a little bit of green moss in the inside of it. Got some good as new aviation oil. Can't go anywhere without your flight bag. And the Integra EX5000 multifunction display. Got some sunshades, tow bar with a little bit of corrosion on it. Otter Creek Brewing beer holder. It is definitely moist in there, so those windows have definitely been leaking. We got some Garmin GNS 400 500 series trainer CD, and that's right, 2003. Comes on a CD. Got a couple wet moldy hats, empty Bose case, free set of tools. Whew, it's hot. It's so hot and muggy in there.
I think it's 95 degrees today.
Yeah, it's like so bad. All right, let me see if we can get the other door open. Maybe we'll get lucky. And get inside we tried, but no matter what we did, we couldn't even get the doors to open. The handles were stuck, the pins were seized. We had another issue to try to figure out. It looks like we got paper, rock, scissors between Joe and Harrison to crawl through the interior and up over the seats and see if we can get in there. Joe.
I think I won.
Joe, I would do it, but I'm just handicapped. But do yourself, Joe, before you do it, take a really deep breath. Because it is muggy in there, bro. Here, let me get down first.
Oh man, it's hot in here.
It is, dude. It is so hot in there. Welcome to the SR22 sauna here at Frederick Airport, Maryland. Where you come in 220 pounds and you leave 180 in 5 minutes.
Dude, you are drenched.
You're drenched. Here, let's go get you a drink. Oh man, this is so bad. Oh. So, Harry, remind me before I buy an airplane to not do it sight unseen anymore.
Okay,
All right, thank you.
I can do that.
That is the floor. It is growing green stuff in here. It's like a little, its own little, there's green stuff growing out of the door. Literally out of the door. Green stuff. It smells like a boat in here. That's just what it reminds me of. Well, it's because it's been leaking water for a long time. Which just, it's not a good sign. It's not like, I think what happens, you know, we bought the Bonanza, you know, it was so good. The interior was so good. And we saw these sunshades up here and I thought it was gonna be the same thing. Not so much. It is literally falling apart like a sun-baked sauna. I mean, this whole interior is gonna need redone. It's gonna need new carpets. Everything's gonna have to be redone. So this is not gonna be a Bonanza find. This is definitely a totally different deal. We're gonna press on. We're gonna try to get these doors open. We can't get them open. It's like 130 degrees in here at least. So we're gonna have to try to take the door apart and get that off of there to see if the mechanisms are working. If the mechanisms are working, you know, we're gonna have to do something. So like, just to give you an idea how hot it is, like that's my hat dripping from the sweat in here. So, I mean, it's hot, so. I have to tell you, I was really, really bugged by the greenness of the carpet down here. And then I saw the panel. It does have AC. Not only that, it has the upgraded dual Avionics screens. It's got dual 430s. It's got the S-Tech autopilot. So this airplane with the TKS, this was the upper model, most loaded, everything that you could get in 2003. It ups the value of this thing substantially from what I thought I was buying. So that's good news. The bad news is, if you look up there at the visors, see the rust and the screws, there's rust here. So it's been moist in here. You can see in the seats, there's some mold. Really annoyed about all the mold in here, but that's what you get. You know what I mean? When you buy stuff sight unseen, it just is what it is. You know, you take a chance. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. You know, buying airplanes like we do, it's not all fun, it's not all easy, but it is rewarding. So we're gonna keep moving forward here and see if we can get this door to open. Like, a door can't stop us today. Like, really? Like a door stopping us. So let's see what happens. The only thing I can think of is if we pull this handle off, I think this whole panel will come off. And then we're going to be able to see all the mechanisms in here. I did call the guys over at Forward Aero that work on these all the time. And they said there's 2 pins that go in and out of the doors that actuate it. I could push really hard on the door and maybe it'll release, but I don't know if the pins are released or not. I don't want to break anything. So we'll take this thing apart and we'll see what we got. All right, so I don't know what you guys can see, but up in here, there's a cable. Go ahead and pull that, Joe. So weird. If I pass out in here, one of you guys got to drag me out. Not by this arm. Sorry, Joe. It's not loosening. At least I got to get in a sauna today and I lost a little bit of weight. Yeah, it's crazy in there. So looking inside there, it's hard to see if the pins are coming out all the way, you know, out of the door frame. It's just hard to tell because at one point it wasn't doing anything. Now, what I'd like to be able to do, so it does have pins in it with a pin coming from the door towards the interior with a cotter pin in it, but you got to get the pin out and it goes towards the door. I think I'd have to somehow get the seat out of the way and then get the pin out of the door assembly and then be able to get the other one out. That pin's out. Yeah, so this is the pin that goes all the way through there. This is spring loaded, right? But yeah, that's a huge pin. All right, so this has been an absolute battle. You know, I think I said it a million times before, it's hot, but this pin down at the bottom, this is the problem. The pin looks like this pin, but it's literally, it has to be kind of like almost rusted or corroded into the door. Whew. Oh my God, there's air. All right, I'm out of here.
This is what it feels like to be a Cirrus owner.
I don't want to be dramatic, but man. So if you guys ever have a stuck Cirrus door, chances are, that's been parked for a long time, chances are the pin is rusted into the shaft down here below. This one definitely is, and it probably stretched the cables to the door release and everything else. So yeah, I think probably what we're gonna find is there's some things stretched or bent or something in here, because I think what happened is on both handles, I'm sure that at some point somebody couldn't get it open, so they're pulling on that handle and they're pulling, and they probably you know, damaged some stuff inside the door. So unfortunately, yeah, that means we're gonna have to do both door assemblies, but I'm just glad we got it open. And guys, thank you so much. Just kidding. We gotta get this thing started yet. Let me try to get this door open. Ready? Ah. Well, at least we got one door that works. After soaking the right door assembly in penetrant for a few hours, our luck started to change. We got the door open on the right, and there it is. 514 hours. It's crazy. I just can't believe someone will let this thing sit. 514 freaking hours. Oh my gosh. Oh. I can't imagine what stuff's gonna look like back here. Now that we got that fiasco over with, let's at least, I have to check these controls. Ailerons are pretty good. They're a little stiff. You can tell they need a little bit of lube, but I'm happy with that. These seats are completely shot. The screens here, they definitely got some damage on them. And these are 430s, so I don't know if there's anybody that has these screens. They literally just stopped repairing these, so I'm not sure. I don't know if these are gonna turn on. It looks like this screen was replaced once, and I thought I saw something as a logbook entry, and you can still get these fixed. And this one here is gonna need done. So I guess the only thing we really gotta do yet is get some power on this, and get some power, you know, figure out where the battery is. And then we can see if these avionics are going to work, see if all this will turn on or not. And then we can get over to the engine, see what it looks like under the cowling. All right, so we reinstalled the pin in here now. This isn't permanent, like, you know, yeah, this is all going to get going over, but we had to make it so we could shut the door and it be safe so we could leave. Go ahead. So that's locking. Nice. All right, now, there we go. All right, let's see if it works. Hey, it's the little win.
That's
All
a
right.
little big win.
And then we know that bottom one, we're gonna have to have that assembly replaced. This is gonna need a new cotter pin and all that stuff, so we'll let the mechanics know. So we got the doors open, we got inside the interior. As you guys seen, upgraded, it's got the best of the best package. And if you guys have followed along with like Avionics and some of the stuff they're doing, they have a brand new setup coming out this year, or it came out last year. I think it's available soon. So I think we're gonna be giving them a call and checking in on that. But we're gonna see if it's gonna work. To do that, we gotta get to the battery because it's obviously dead. It's been sitting for years. And we gotta take this cowling off. Well, if you guys look in here, you can see this has been a birdhouse.
Did you look in there?
I didn't.
You should look in there.
Maybe
I did peek.
Maybe I don't want to look in there. Oh, man. Oh, man. Wow.
It don't look like a lot of nesting material, but definitely a lot of poo.
Wow, it smells like a chicken house.
Well, I lied. There is nesting material.
Yeah, there's a ton of it. So this looks exactly like the TB20 looked. Same airport, makes sense. Same birds, probably the same family. Aunts, uncles, cousins. Let's just spray these down while we're over here. Let's just dip it. Let's dip it in some penetrant. Nice thing about this though, if you guys look, it does have the dual exhaust. You could have had a single or a dual, I believe, in 2003. The dual is a better setup. I'm so afraid to look in here. Yeah. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, that is the worst I've ever seen. Oh, my God. That is the worst I've ever seen. Wow. Oh, 514 hours. Oh, my gosh. This thing is so bad. Look at the air filter. Oh, this is so bad. I can't believe someone would let this airplane get this way. Ah, so bad. Man, so looking at this makes me upset in a way, and then it also makes me a little bit happy because, I mean, really, if we wouldn't be here doing this airplane it would have kept going to junk, and chances are we came in at the right time. I mean, I don't know who else would save it at this point, would be kind of crazy enough to do that. Wow, it is, that's solid poop. It's poop cement. Do we have gloves?
Yes, we do.
We're just gonna get this out, get it in a bucket. Keep it downwind. There you go. There you go. No breathing here. Some days, aren't you glad you're the cameraman, Harry? Do you want me to film? Oh, my arm. Let me film. You can do this.
Oh, that's a whole bird. Hey, camera guy. Camera guy.
I have a feeling that we're going to be overhauling the mags. We'll be overhauling the starter. We're going to be overhauling the AC, the AC pump. We'll be overhauling everything. So this might be a good time for those of you at home to go ahead and pause the video and comment down below if you think this thing's going to start. Are we going to get this thing started? What are the cylinders going to look like once we scope them? Usually I have a pretty good idea of what it's going to look like, and I'm usually close to right. This one, I don't want to be right. I don't want to be right on this one.
15 gallons. 15 gallons of bird. There was bird all over that engine. There was bird in every part of it. It was the worst I have ever seen. It clogged stuff. There's dead birds. There's multiple houses. There was insects. It was terrible. And I knew at that point that things were not looking good at all.
We got a lot of it cleaned off. It is a huge difference now, but it's still terrible. I think we're going to take the lower cowling off. There's a whole nother bird hotel underneath there. We'll get this off. We'll get that cleaned out. And then we'll probably start pulling, you know, some of this baffling off. I think we'll get the pressure washer out and we're just gonna keep cleaning. I mean, it's so bad. I've never seen anything this bad in my whole life. I think I may start making styrofoam, cheap styrofoam cow plugs and walking around airports and just putting cow plugs in everybody's airplanes because this is so avoidable. It's so avoidable. And man, 500 hours on a really cool airplane. And this is what it looks like. Oh, what is that? What the? It's a bird.
I don't think it's a bird, but
It's a bird.
oh yeah, it is.
It's a bird. It's two birds. So a bird crawled down inside the exhaust and couldn't get out. Two birds. One tried to get the other one out. There's the head. So, and just in case you guys were wondering, we're actually on the back side of the airport. There's no runway near here. There's nothing anywhere near here. So we're in a good spot.
Years later.
This thing looks a whole lot better, but I think most of it is on me. So we're gonna call it a day and we'll be back tomorrow. So we're back here at the airport with the SR22. We got a jumper pack here. This is 24 volts, so we got a 24 volt jumper pack. Obviously the battery's dead, but this whole time I'm wondering if the avionics are going to work or if they're not going to work. It does have the upgraded package, as you guys saw. It'd be really cool if they all worked. So let's find out. What do you think, Joe?
Oh, it's all gonna work.
It's going to work?
Everything's gotta work.
Is it going to work right though?
Well, I mean, you can't ask for everything.
All right, so when we hit this switch, you guys look for smoke out here. I'll look for smoke in there.
Well,
so
the thing I like about this box is it has the power switch. You
yeah.
can just turn it off real quick. Don't have to fumble.
just watch this edge, because this edge is this long and it's fiberglass. Make sure it's in neutral.
Yeah.
Push the clutch in.
I'll push the clutch in, dude. You'll be fine.
Okay.
After seeing the avionics, I was getting excited. A panel jam-packed with some seriously advanced avionics for its time meant more value for our money.
All right, so here we got the master switches. We have all the avionics switches. Obviously, all of these should come on. I'm not sure if they're gonna come on. I'd be really surprised if they do, to be honest with you. Good?
Okay, I got 24 volts livening her up.
All right. All right, we got one screen that turned on.
Oh, someone's smoking. Someone's smoking right here. You smell that?
We got smoke.
I turned it back off. As soon as I heard smoke, I turned it off. Where we got it? Is it the panel?
Up here somewhere. Well, I didn't turn the avionics on either, but they came on. Dude, did you see what I see up there?
No.
Moss.
Oh yeah, I see it in behind the window.
Yeah. So sometimes these rescues go really good, and sometimes they go really bad. This would be a really bad. All right, so we got all the breakers off. I think we're also going to pull off the dash cover here. The man, and this whole thing should come off. We should be able to see at least through the window down in here and see what we have. Maybe see what was letting smoke out of the wires, but it's not good. I mean, I'm assuming something's wet in there, so. Down behind there and see what we got. All right, let's get this panel out of here. We got an amp down here. I can see, it looks like a audio amp. You know, the things that I'm worried about is the things that were right below this window. I mean, because we got this growing in here. That means there's been water getting in here for a long time. I mean, it's just been like its own little sanctuary. You got it?
Yep.
All right. Go ahead.
Coming on. Okay, no smoke now.
All right, no smoke anywhere. Let me turn the battery switch on. S-Tech came on. I didn't have the autopilot pulled. All right, now it doesn't come on. I must have bumped it with my foot because I originally pulled it. For me, I think we turn one on at a time and see if we see anything. Do you have a good view, Joe?
Yeah.
The Avionics master is pushed in. All right, Avionics switch going on. You ready? It's on. Nothing's coming on though, so I would assume these just aren't powered up. I'm gonna go with comm and GPS 1 and 2, so that's gonna be should be the top 430. I'm gonna switch that on. Comm 1, GPS 1. All right, let's see if it'll turn on. Hey, it came on for a second. The screen came on and then it went off. I think we should have rescued this thing like a couple months ago when we could still get the 430s fixed. You can actually, if you look real close, you can't see it on camera, but you can see a faint Garmin back here. So it's coming on and it's slowly loading. So this came on when I hit the HSI PFD1. I see it.
Yep.
Yeah, we got some unhappiness coming out of there. Yeah, I have a feeling right now if we keep turning this stuff on and off,
Yeah, we're gonna have a big problem.
I think we're just gonna probably burn stuff out. I have a feeling moisture got into most of the things in here. I think, you know, before like messing everything up, my thought is, you know, these screens, we'll pull them out, we'll send them back to the manufacturer, we'll make sure they're good, we'll pull all of these out as well. I think we send them back to the manufacturer, just have them gone over, make sure they're good, because it doesn't make sense turning these things on and off to check them out, you know, when it could just ruin them.
Yeah, at this point, they might be fixable.
They might be fixable, yeah. So a little bit of a lose. Yeah, so I think the other thing that we can check since we're in here, we might as well see if the flaps work. Yeah, I really think flaps-wise is really the only thing that I want to check yet that's inside of here, you know, that we're going to need to know if it works or not. Make sure flaps are up. Battery. You guys ready?
Yep.
Nope. Let's see what else we need here. I'm going to go ahead and hit the starter relay one. You clear?
Yep.
All right. I think as it stands right now, until we can get some of this stuff kind of figured out, we're going to have to get our test equipment out. I think we're going to definitely have to bring in some reinforcements, obviously, to go over all this stuff. I think I may have paid way too much for this, like way too much. If we get in the engine and it's all rusted up, like, I'll be lucky to get my money back out of this thing. So things are looking bad. Our advanced avionics that I was so excited about, they're junk.
And the more I look over this thing, the more broke I'm becoming by the minute. And to make things worse, I found out earlier in the day that the cap's emergency parachute system needs replaced. And if you guys know anything about those, that's like $20,000 and 7 to 8 months wait to get it fixed.
Now that we checked out the avionics, I think the next thing we got to do, we'll check the fuel, make sure there is fuel in it, see what the condition of the fuel is, see if there's any dirt in it, check all of the checkpoints, and hopefully our luck gets a little better. She is empty. There's not a drop in here. Didn't even get any free fuel, man.
Yeah, that's messed up.
Whew, this is getting like worse and worse.
Well, the odds that fuel would have been any good.
It's very, very slim, yeah.
Honestly, there's a good chance it just evaporated.
Yeah, she's got some stale fuel in this wing. All right, so we have a little bit of fuel in this right tank. I think we do need to add some good fuel, or at least figure out why that left tank is completely empty. Yeah, this one sounds like it has a good amount in there.
Listen to this side. It almost sounds like there might be just a little bit in here.
Like just a tad.
Maybe not.
Yeah, there's a little bit in there.
A little bit.
No water. Little stale.
A little stale, but it don't look like much evaporated.
Smell that?
Oh.
A little stale, huh? All right, so we'll check the second sump here. And it comes out a lot faster. Second sump, 0 water. Smells like old fuel. Zero water. Very stale.
It's unbelievable there's no water in there.
Yeah. All right, 0 water. That actually smells a little bit better. 0 that, I'm getting used to stale fuel. That'd be a no. So we have nothing in the gascolator, which I didn't think we would. We know that the fuel, there was no dirt in it, there's no water in it. The tanks look good. I think other than it cleaning up pretty well, it's the first good news we've had on this rescue yet. So we'll wait for this helicopter to go by. So we had 2 things were good news. The fuel was good news. You know, there's no water and there's no debris in it. It looks good. It's stale. We'll put some extra in there before we fire it up. Avionics, not so good news. We're going to pull all those out, send them out, make sure they're all good. We'll also have someone come in and check all the wiring and stuff like that. Interior, we're going to need to replace the interior. This is the big, huge question. One of these engines, the overhaul of this engine is $65,000. Right now, it has 500 hours on it, but you guys saw, I mean, this had more bird poop on than anything we've rescued yet. What's the chances that the cylinders look good and that this thing will start? And even if it does start, what's the chances the cam and the lifters, which we have to, you know, have inspected, are gonna be good? Harry, what's the percentage that these cylinders pass, that they look good?
I think 75%.
75, Joe?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, normally I'm optimistic, but from what we've seen so far, I'm saying a 50-50 shot.
Man, you went with a safe bet.
Yeah, because this thing's been outside for a long time.
It has. I'm thinking like, I'm even under that. I think a 40% chance. I really think we might be overhauling an engine. So I think, we'll see. We might have a Cirrus lawn ornament. Wow. Plug looks really good other than the ton of rust that is in the plug, and that's something that worries me. Yeah, same thing. How much rust is inside that plug? Yeah, same thing. That one's not as bad.
Yo, that first cylinder actually didn't look, the spark plug didn't look that bad.
Really?
Yeah, it was probably the best one yet. This one, not so much. Yeah, so that's the worst you want to really see one. So we have, I'd say, the top plugs anyway. We didn't even look at the bottom plugs. We're going to have to pull those out because we're going to have to clean them all up for sure. After cleaning all the spark plugs, I reluctantly began to check the cylinders. Our luck, it hasn't been the best on this rescue, and I had a feeling things were going to get worse. It's a piston, it's good. All right, let's look in this cylinder here. That one's at top dead, so I don't want to rotate this over until we can really take a look at the cylinders.
That doesn't look too bad. Right?
I can't really tell. It's so bright out here. I don't actually think it looks too bad. Take a look at that, Joe. See what you think. It seems like there's a bit. It's kind of hard to position. See around the rim there? Yeah. Seems like there's a bit, maybe for an inch from the top, but down here it doesn't look bad. All right. Well, actually, it doesn't look bad. I think where the ringland is to the top is usually about 3/4 of an inch or so, and it looks like that one, that's about where it has some like surface stuff, but it doesn't look real bad. I've seen a lot worse. Go ahead and move the prop. Let's see if we can get this piston to go down. Keep going. Don't worry, ignition's off.
Yeah.
All right, good. I'm seeing a little something on kind of the bottom side of the cylinder. So what was sitting down, it seems like there's a little bit at the very top, but again, it doesn't look bad. All right, let's go ahead and move that piston down.
One thing I'm liking,
It looks good.
it really turned easy.
Yeah, it's even to turn easy. The pistons look good. So far, the cylinder walls look what I would say would be really good.
Like there was no like tight spot where the ring was sitting.
No.
Even, it just turned easy.
All right, let's check this cylinder. We're already all the way down, and it's the same. Yes! Oh, this looks good too. This one looks good. Yeah.
I can't see. Am I down?
Yep. Yeah, it looks good. Finally! Cooked electronics, cooked interior. We were going to replace all our electronics anyway. All the avionics we were going to replace. Like, we don't really say that yet, but it's just a little tiny bit of carbon on the side of the piston. Like, look at the piston crowns. Nothing on it whatsoever. Yeah. Oh, these cylinders look good.
All right, ready to hand prop it. Stand back.
Yeah. See how much oil's in it. Oh, look at that. It's got brand new oil in it. Win number 2, brand new oil.
Well, it was parked right after annual.
Yeah, I guess it was. So it was annualed in 2012, 514 hours. There's 514 hours on there. So it was parked literally right after the annual was done.
Yeah.
Look at that, fresh oil, which we will change later after we run a little bit and get some heat in it. But so we're gonna let that soak a little bit, and we'll turn it over. Make sure it gets in the rings. Make sure all the cylinders are lubricated good, oil's good, and then we'll see if we can get this thing to turn over, get some fuel pressure, and maybe see if the fuel pump works, and then see if we can make some smoke.
24.
24. All right, I'm gonna turn the master on. Master's on. I see no smoke. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and turn this thing over. We got some oil in the cylinders and got a jumper pack on. We have essential power on and the starter relay. I'm not sure if that's all we'll need. Plugs are out, all the leads are off. Clear prop. Hey, hey, hey. All right, she's turning right over. All right, we got oil pressure. So it came up to I'd say about 20 pounds of oil pressure. which turning over, you know, with the, you know, just with the starter and stuff like that's pretty good. All right, so we got about 20 pounds of oil pressure. That should be plenty. Obviously, just turning over with the starter RPM, which I don't even know what that's spinning the engine over at, maybe 100 RPM a minute with the plugs out, but that should be fine. So that's good. That's a good sign. So we got good cylinders, we got oil pressure. Now we just got to make sure we have fuel, because there's no fuel even in the gasculator. So we're going to be looking for some fuel flow here. And as long as we have fuel flow, I think we should be able to get this thing started. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to turn the fuel pump on. All right, there's the fuel pump relay. We got the battery on yet.
Which tank are you on?
I am on the left tank. We're going to go, if you can see here, the gauges are working. So left one is saying we got 5 gallons, right one saying we're going 20, so we're going to go over on the right. All right, so now we're over on the right tank. I'm going to turn the pump on and see if we get any fuel flow up here. All right, sounds like the pump is running.
It's not sounding good.
Sounds like she's running a little rough.
Sounds like she's been sitting dry for a while.
Yeah. Let me try a prime. There we go. That's what I like to hear. All right, let's crack all the lines and get fuel up to the injectors.
Yep.
The gauge one's shooting like right up. All right, so we have fuel flow. I mean, this thing went up to like 20 pounds right away. Ready?
Yep. Yep.
Ready?
Yep. Yep. You're good. All right. Yep. Yep. Yep, we're good.
Good?
Yep.
All right, we got them all bled. That's good. All right, so we have fuel. We have air, so we know that's good. We're not sure if we have spark, but we're going to put the plugs in. We have oil pressure and all that stuff. So as long as there's no major problems with the mags, and we do have compression, which we should, things should fire up. Now that everything was going better, we started to feel more confident in getting it started. I mean, what else could go wrong?
It's rolling.
Hey!
It's rolling.
Right about there's perfect. We got this thing all sorted out as far as it starting. There's a lot more work to do to it yet, but let's see if it'll fire up. We have the fire extinguisher, check.
Yeah.
All right, we're on both. Turn the battery on. Everything else is on that needs it. We're not turning the avionics on or any of that stuff. So everything's on down here and the breakers that have to be on. We're on the right tank. All right, throttle's working, mixtures, boost pump, high and low, full rich. All right, so yeah, that definitely boosts her up. I'm gonna try to start it without the boost pump on first. I'm gonna give it a little bit of throttle, right about here. I'll be ready to pull it back. I'll also be ready to cut it off if need be. This always makes me nervous. You guys ready? Clear prop. Oh man, it's running perfectly smooth. Man, it sounds so good. We got good oil pressure. The oil temp is, it's just hot out here today. It's idling rated at 1,000 RPM. All right, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna hit the alternator, see if it'll charge. Yep, she's charging. Everything's working so good, everything's fine, engine sounds good. It stumbles a bit like off throttle, and I'm sure it needs ran in, but it's good.
That might be the best sounding airplane we have.
I'm telling you what, man, it runs perfectly smooth. Like, all the drops work great. Now, this is a little bit different because you really can't test the constant speed prop like right here. I'm not gonna do it without the brakes working, without lubing up everything and stuff. It runs smooth. It runs really smooth. It fired up in like 2 turns. And I know this hasn't been started in like since 2012. It hasn't been started since 2012. Cylinders look good. Engine is good. Avionics needs some help, so we're gonna pop them out. We're gonna send them out. We're gonna get all the avionics done. We're gonna get them all overhauled, all fixed. We're gonna have a team of AMPs from a specialized shop that specializes in Cirrus aircraft come down here, get this thing ferryable, and get it ferried. Meanwhile, me and Joe, we're gonna go out to our next rescue, and we're gonna get that rescued. We figure, hey, you know, have some people come in, get some of this stuff done while we're out having fun, finding more airplanes, getting more rescues, so we can get more of these things flying. Guys, look, thank you so much for spending your time with us. This has been awesome. Take care.